Hey everyone, and welcome back to Battleborn. I've got a new build for you. This one is for Oscar Mike, and I call it Standard Issue. Now, the reason I call it Standard Issue is because, well, it's sort of Standard Issue. Every Oscar Mike who knows what they're doing is going to be running something very similar. They might have some slightly different Helix choices. They might go with some different gear. But it's going to play out the same way. And the only difference that's going to separate one Oscar Mike from another is play style and their skill level. So I tried making something unique for him. I had some really kooky builds, like one where I was running around stealth, dropping airstrikes. But if you want to just make him effective, just build him basically the way he was meant to be built, the way everyone builds him, and he's going to work out great for you. He's going to have his stealth to move across the battlefield. He's going to have great wave clear, and he's going to have good damage, even at range, if you choose his scope on his Helix. So let's jump into the Helix choices, and I'll show you how to set them up. Alright, so for level 1, we are going to go to the left with Impact Trigger. It's going to make our frag grenades explode on impact. Level 2, this is where our amazing wave clear comes from. We're going to the left with Fragcendiary grenade. It's the clear choice, 720 damage over 6 seconds, great area denial, great wave clear, and great damage on other players. Alright, level 3, I like to go with the scope on the right. That's going to give me a long range option, just makes my assault rifle more effective at range. You could go with red dot sight on the left if you want to get more up close and personal, but that's not how I like to play Oscar Mike, so I go to the right with the scope. Alright, level 4, I go to the right with Tactical Espionage Action. Now, a lot of people seem to think that, you know, once you hit your stealth, you're in the clear, you're going to get away. That's not the case. Any good player is going to be able to track you, especially if they get a dot on you or something that's going to reveal your location. So if you get that tactical espionage action with that movement speed when you stealth, that's going to let you get away. Otherwise, you know, those good players, they're still going to get you. Alright, level 5, we are going to the right with Doubletap. That makes every single shot in our clips a tactical round, which increased the damage by 50%. So this is the clear winner as far as I'm concerned on this bracket. No reason to take the others as far as I'm concerned. Alright, level 6, I go to the left with Far-Flung Frags. This boosts the launch velocity of the frag grenades and increases their range. I get a lot of kills shooting a grenade at someone that's running away, and that just makes it a lot easier. So that's why I like that choice. So I go to the left. Alright, level 7, I go up the middle with high velocity ammo. That's just a straight increase to all your shots. 18%, really, really nice damage boost. Level 8, I go to the left with Fragpocalypse. It's going to increase frag grenades damage by 15%. Now, you could go with the other two options. If you're really, really good at aiming the grenades, you could go up the center with Concentrated Frags, although I don't like the area. I think it's too small, but it does give more damage. And if you go to the right, it increases the area, but no damage boost. And I think the area is just fine as it is, so I go to the left and just get the 15% boost without adjusting the size of the grenade impact zone. Alright, so level 9, I go to the left with Stealth Savings. I have no real desire to make my airstrikes work while I'm in stealth, and my stealth is plenty long, so I'd rather get my stealth to come off of cooldown more frequently if I don't use the whole duration. And then level 10, I go to the right with Holy Crap, Concussive Strike. Slow is amazing in this game, and slow is going to make it harder for the enemies to get out of your airstrike, so that's why I like going with that option. Alright, so those are the Helix choices I make. Let me show you my gear. First up is going to be the gear I use in Incursion and Meltdown. This set is going to look familiar to you. It's a set I'm very fond of. So the first item I go with is the Survivor's Regrowth Serum. That adds health regeneration and more health regeneration if I survive for 3 minutes. Now, if you're good with health regeneration, maybe you've got a healer with you. If you're going to swap this one out, go with reload speed. Reload speed is really nice for Oscar Mike, but I don't include it in this gear set because I prefer the other stats I'm going with. But reload speed would be my first choice if I was to drop this health regen. Alright, second item I go with is the Eviscerating Endoskeletal Graft. Attack damage and attack speed. And then the third item, this one is from Rendane on the Heliophage. It's the Vow of Zealous Fury. It's going to give me attack speed, critical hit damage, and stacking attack speed up to 5 stacks every time I use a skill. Alright, so that's my expensive set. When I go into capture, I bring this set along with me. The first item is the Ammo Butler. It's going to increase my reload speed. Like I said, it's a good stat, and in capture, getting that activated right away, it makes a big difference. The other item I go with is the Hurricane. That's going to increase my attack speed by 8.4%. And then the third item I go with is the Sketchy Boilermakers. It's going to increase my movement speed at the cost of negative heal power, but I don't have any heal power, so that has no effect. And that's a 0 cost item. Alright, so those are my Helix choices and my gear choices. Let's jump to some clips, and I'll explain to you how the level progression works on this build. Level 1 is a slow start for Oscar Mike. His wave clear is mediocre at best at this point, but you should still focus on it because you want to get to level 2 as fast as possible because that's when the real wave clear comes into play. At level 1, you're also not pumping out the best damage, and you need to get at least somewhat close to do it. So my advice would be to just stay on the lookout and help your teammates with enemy players instead of just trying to take them on by yourself. Level 2 gets the Fragcendiary grenade, which makes you a wave clearing monster. It's also really good at killing players too, since the grenade still has the impact damage and the addition of the damage over time is really nice. But I try to save my grenades for the waves unless I'm really confident I can finish a player off with them. I also like to hold on to them just because they're my defense mechanism against melee players. If a melee player jumps in my face, I just plop it down at my feet, and then they'll either have to back off so I can run away or apply my own pressure, or they'll just stand in it and take a ton of damage. Level 3 gets you the Scope, which makes you a long-range threat. This works really well for my playstyle since I actually play a rather defensive Oscar Mike, using my stealth mostly as an escape and using that scope to whittle people down from afar. Playing this way makes it much more likely that you'll catch them completely off guard when and if you do decide to do an aggressive move. If they've gotten used to you staying on your end of the map and then suddenly you decide to chase after them to finish them off, it's less likely they'll be prepared for it. Because up until that point in the match, they've just gotten used to being low health and then falling back to safety. But this time, they're going to get an unwanted visitor. Level 4 gets you the Tactical Espionage action, which does wonders for your survivability. Without getting slowed, I almost never die once I pick up this Helix augment. Even though stealth isn't a get out of jail free card with many players, it still makes it harder for people to hit you, and they won't have much of an opportunity to do that if you're sprinting away at crazy speeds. It also works really well for being aggressive since you can close the gap with someone while you're invis, or you could just use it to sneak into the enemy's back lines and take out their buildables. Level 5 is a really big level because you turn your entire clips into tactical rounds, which is a really nice boost to your damage, and you also get your ultimate. Oscar Mike's ultimate is difficult to get out of because the affected area is so large it can sometimes be hard to actually see the edge of the circle. All the enemy knows is that there's missiles coming down and they hurt, but they don't always know where to run to get out of them. If you manage to land an airstrike on someone and then you follow it up with a Fragcendiary grenade that hits at roughly the same time, it's going to melt their health away super fast. Just be aware that the activation time on the ultimate is a little bit long, so it's best used as an initiation ability before the enemy notices you. If you can manage to drop it into a large group fight, you can rack up a lot of kills. At level 6, you get the Far-Flung grenades, which, as I said earlier, is extremely useful to me because of how often I finish off escaping players with a long distance shot. It really is one of the most satisfying ways to kill someone for me, and I'm not really sure why, but I love it. There's just a certain beauty to arcing that grenade right into a person. Level 7 gives you an 18% boost to all of your machine gun fire, which is a pretty significant increase, especially since you're probably getting close to having all of your gear activated. Having the insane attack speed with a big damage increase lets you shred people pretty quickly, and with the scope you can do it from a safe distance. When you were lower level, Oscar Mike was more of a nuisance with his damage, but now that you're getting higher levels, he's becoming a real high damage threat. Level 8 increases the damage of your grenades, which is obviously really helpful for both killing players and taking out waves. You didn't really need help with waves, but now a single frag on its own will pretty much take care of business. This comes in really handy, especially on Meltdown, because you can toss the grenade to clear one side and immediately sprint over to the other lane to assist with their wave. Not only is that helpful to your team by throwing another body on the lane, but the extra experience will help you pick up your last 2 levels quicker. If you're in a situation where you're back on the defensive, the extra grenade damage helps to take out the incoming waves without exposing yourself too long to get killed. The Far-Flung grenade certainly helps with that as well, and you know, if the wave is about to make it in, you've always got the airstrike if it's off of cooldown. That'll certainly take care of all of the minions. Level 9 gives you the potential of using stealth more frequently. After you pick up this Helix augment, whenever you stealth, you should break out of the stealth as soon as you're in the clear to get that cooldown reduced. Having stealth available more often is obviously a huge boon, but don't get crazy with it and start using it all the time. You should still only use it when the situation calls for it, because getting stuck without it will usually end up with you dead. Now this is one of those augments that won't help you every match, it's a safety valve. It's there. If you're in trouble, it may save your life. Level 10 gets the slow on the airstrike, which may help you secure a few more kills, but won't change the manner in which you use your ultimate. Well, there you have it, the standard issue build for Oscar Mike. I know it's likely not new information for experienced Oscar Mike players, but hopefully it'll help newcomers pick up the character. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.